Right, let's dive into this explainer and tackle what's honestly one of the most heated debates in B2B marketing right now. If you spent, any time running ads on LinkedIn, you definitely found yourself staring at Campaign Manager, just agonizing over this one fundamental question about where to send your hard-earned clicks. It's a choice that can completely make or break your marketing budget. And there are super passionate advocates on both sides. So today, we're going to unpack the data, look at exactly what the experts are saying, and give you a definitive framework for making the right choice for your business.
Let's set the scene a bit. LinkedIn is an absolute powerhouse for professionals. I mean, with over 1 billion users, it is literally where B2B buyers live. But that premium audience, yeah, it comes with a seriously premium price tag. It's an expensive platform, with cost per click often blowing right past $5. When you're paying that much just to get a single person to click on your ad, every single interaction has to be optimized for maximum return. You simply can't afford to let those expensive clicks slip through your fingers because of a clunky user experience. So that brings us to the core dilemma. When every click costs a premium, you have to answer this critical question. Do you use a native LinkedIn lead gen form, or do you send that expensive traffic to a landing page on your own website? It sounds super simple, right? Well, actually, scratch that. It's really this complex tug of war between volume, intent, data, and friction. And, man, we have all felt this pain. Take a look at this Reddit user who spent $57 real just to get an absolute void of leads in return. Zero. Zip. It is unbelievably frustrating to literally burn money for nothing, and it just proves exactly how high the stakes are here. When campaigns fall flat, it's so easy to just blame the platform, right? But honestly, it's usually a mismatch between the tool you're using and the psychology of the buyer at that exact moment. So to stop draining your budget, we really need to look under the hood and understand how these tools actually work. Okay, let's start with our first contender, the lead gen form. This format is all about keeping the user locked right inside the platform for maximum convenience. When someone clicks your ad, they aren't booted out to a new browser tab. Instead, boom, a form pops open right there in their LinkedIn feed. And here's the absolute magic part. It autofills with their verified LinkedIn data. Name, work email, job title, company size, it's all there. They just glance at it and hit submit. Now, the absolute secret superpower of these native forms is eliminating friction. Just think about the user experience for a second. There's no waiting around for an external website to load, which, by the way, is a massive advantage on mobile devices. No awkwardly typing out a long email address with your thumbs or trying to remember your exact official job title. It's literally like, 2 taps to convert? Because that friction drops to basically zero, the volume of leads you can grab just goes through the roof. And the result of that low friction? It's completely staggering. To put this into perspective, lead gen forms convert at a massive 13%, just utterly crushing the 2.35% average of external landing pages. Think about that for a second. For the exact same ad spend, you're potentially looking at 5 times the number of leads. If your only goal is to just pack your database with names and emails as cheaply as possible, well, the lead gen form looks like the undisputed heavyweight champ. But hold on a second. Before you go dumping your entire budget into forms, we really need to talk about what you're actually sacrificing for all that high volume. Because that extreme convenience, yeah, it's definitely not free. When you keep a user trapped inside the LinkedIn ecosystem, you're handing over a lot of the control and data that us digital marketers rely on to build a predictable revenue engine. The absolutely crucial point here is that by keeping users on LinkedIn, you completely lose the website visit. And no website visit means your retargeting pixels just sit there doing nothing. You lose deeper on-site analytics, things like Google Analytics 4 or heat maps that show you exactly how far someone scrolled before bailing. And maybe worst of all, you lose message control. A form is really just a few fields, right? But a landing page? That gives you the whole canvas to tell a full story, showcase your social proof, and actually build real brand trust. So this builds a really powerful case for landing pages where friction actually acts as a feature, not a bug. Think about it. A lead gen form is so incredibly easy to click that it captures a lot of mild curiosity or honestly even accidental clicks from people just mindlessly scrolling on their phones. A landing page, on the other hand, asks the user to physically leave the app, wait for a page to load, read your copy, and manually type their info. That friction acts like a bouncer at a club. It weeds out the window shoppers and filters for high-intent, active commitment. Because lead gen forms are so effortless to submit, you often end up with what we call junk data. Sure, it pulls directly from their LinkedIn profile, but how many people actually update their profile the very day they get a promotion? Not many. So you might get outdated job titles. Or worse, you might get the personal email address they used to create their account 10 years ago. Suddenly, you're trying to send highly targeted B2B sales pitches to skaterboy99@hotmail.com. Ultimately, you get a ton of people who just aren't remotely ready to have a serious sales conversation yet.
And that brings us to a massive mindset shift. If you want to run truly successful campaigns, you have to stop judging them solely on cost per lead, or CPL. Because let's be real, a cheap lead is completely useless if they never end up buying your product. Instead, the true metric you need to be laser focused on is the cost per sales qualified lead, or SQL. We have to look further down the funnel to see which format is actually generating revenue, not just tallying up empty form fills.
Now, when you look at the data further down the funnel, a massive strategic flip is revealed. Check this out. While landing pages get fewer raw leads up front, those high-friction leads turn into actual sales-qualified opportunities at a significantly higher rate, somewhere between 22 and 35%. Lead gen forms, despite all that upfront volume, only convert to SQLs at around 12 to 22%. So while forms will often win that raw cost per lead battle, landing pages consistently win the cost per qualified opportunity battle every single time.
So who's the ultimate winner here? Well, the most successful B2B marketers know it's not actually an either-or battle at all. It's a strategic combination of both tools. Forcing one single destination on every single offer guarantees that you're going to lose either volume or quality somewhere in your funnel. The real trick is matching the tool to the specific goal of your campaign, and more importantly, the psychology of your buyer at that exact moment in time. Here is exactly how you sequence them to build this hybrid blueprint. At the top and middle of the funnel, when you're offering lower commitment stuff like ebooks, industry reports, or maybe webinar registrations, use lead gen forms. You want that high volume and low friction to capture their email early on when they're just getting to know you. But at the bottom of the funnel, when you're asking someone to request a demo or talk about pricing, use a landing page. You absolutely need that friction to ensure you are only handing warm, high-intent prospects over to your sales team. Now, you might be thinking, what if you absolutely must use lead gen forms for everything? Maybe your audience is super heavy on mobile and landing pages just aren't loading fast enough. Well, you can act like a total pro by intentionally adding friction back into those native forms. Don't just rely on the autofill data. Add custom qualifying questions that force the user to stop, actively think, and select an answer. Ask for their current company size, their primary use case, or their timeline. This artificially raises the intent and screens out those poor fit contacts right off the bat. And remember, the format you choose, that's really only half the battle. The sources highlight that speed to lead is absolutely critical. I mean, your lead data is totally useless if it just sits there collecting digital dust. You must seamlessly integrate these tools directly with platforms like HubSpot, Salesforce, or Zapier to automate immediate follow-ups. Whether you capture them on a form or a page, a lead is going to go cold if you don't engage with them quickly. And always, always measure your success by the actual pipeline value created, not just the sheer number of form fills. I'm going to leave you with this final thought to take away from this explainer today. Take a really hard look at your own campaigns. Are you draining your budget by using high-friction landing pages for simple ebook downloads? Or, on the flip side, are you just burying your poor sales team in low-intent junk leads by using frictionless forms for demo requests? Are you ready to stop fighting over which format is best and start building a hybrid pipeline that actually converts?